Hey there. Now it's time for part 6 of our tutorial series on Microsoft Excel. And for this one, we're going to be focusing on formulas. Formulas are my favorite part of working in Microsoft Excel because they do pretty complicated things. They're pretty flexible, pretty powerful, and just extremely useful. For this exercise, we're going to stay in our Excel samples for class document, but this time we're going to go down to the tab down here, the different worksheet that's slugged percentage change formula, okay, because that's what we're going to be doing. So in this document, what you're going to see is a sort of header up here that says airport wait times, and then we're going to see a list of airports, the years for which these samples were taken, and then we have numbers which refer to the number of minutes of the average wait time for those airports and how they change from 2004 to 2006. So we could just subtract one from the other and get a simple figure in there, but sometimes the numbers are such that that's not going to be a very meaningful comparison, and it makes more sense to do a percentage change comparison. And so that's what we're going to learn how to do. Now, how do you calculate a percentage change? I can never remember, to be honest. I've done it literally thousands of times, and I can never remember how to do it. Well, maybe not thousands, but hundreds for sure. And that's why I've written it down in this cheat sheet. If you look down here at the next worksheet, it's a cheat sheet. And what it is it has sort of samples of the 3 most common formulas I've used. And then it also has some information about sum, average, median, and mode, which might also be helpful to you. But what we really want to focus on this time is the percent change formula. And so in each of these samples, what you'll see is there's the name of the formula or a description of the formula, and then an explanation of the structure of the formula. So here's a sample of it. It equals, in parentheses, new minus old, over old. Okay, and then you have some sample data here. You have old, new, and then you have the formula in here. And so the first 2 groups are such that you should be able to tell immediately if your formula is right, because you know that 100 to 150 is a 50% increase, and you know that 200 to 400 is a 100% increase. So that's just why they're there. Okay, so if you click on one of these cells, you can see the actual formula up here in the formula bar. And let me zoom in there, and you can see how that's structured. So instead of having the actual values in the cells, it refers to the cell numbers. So here it equals B6 minus A6 over A6. And that's the same as new minus old over old, with new minus old in parentheses. So let's go ahead and apply that to our spreadsheet. Okay, so over here, we're going to go ahead and enter that formula in. And so how do you do that? You basically just click on the empty cell and punch in your formula, right? Up here in the, you can either do it directly in the cell or you can do it up here. Doesn't make a difference. So let's just do it right here. So we're going to go equals, and we know we have to have a open parentheses. And then instead of naming the cell manually by saying C1, or it's actually C3 because we're in row 3, we can just click on the cell and it'll put the cell number in there. See? Then we hit the minus key, and then we go to the old cell, click, then we do a close parentheses, and then we do our /, and then we click on old again. All right. So that's our formula right there. And once you hit enter, you get the result. Okay. And what we see is that that says that the difference is minus 0.387 blah, 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 right? So we want to reformat this to look like a percentage. How do we do that? We go back to our format cells or command 1, and we're going to change the number into a percentage, and most of the time for news, we want that set to probably 1 decimal place. That's probably good enough for us, right? So we hit OK. And now we have to do this for all of these, right? But before we do that, we want to make sure it's right. So it's always good when you're coming up with a new formula to figure out how to spot check your work, all right? So if we remember 17.27 and 10.58, let's go over here, and I just found online a percent change calculator. So I think it was 17.21, and the second value was 10.58 or something like that. And then we hit calculate, and it's a 38% decrease. Let's actually see if I got those numbers right, because I have tremendous short-term memory issues. Yeah, 17.27, 10.58, and it's a 38.7% difference. And so we're pretty close there. And that's good enough for government work. Let's see. Let's double check that again. 17.21. Is that what that was? 17.27. That's right. Okay. So let's plug that in correctly this time. Okay. And there we have 38.7. Okay. And so you can see now by checking our work that that's accurate, that our formula is structured correctly and we're getting the proper result for that. So once that's been checked, all we have to do is figure out a way to apply that formula to all of the rest of this information. Okay, but that's for the next tutorial. So thanks again for watching, and we'll be with you in just a few minutes.